What's up, guys? LastDayZ ModZ here with another tutorial video for you. We're going to cover a lot of ground here today, but this is something that comes up a lot when I either do server builds for somebody or make modifications to their server for them. And I kind of thought a video like this might be helpful. So let's say you go onto a website, one of the more famous websites like LastDayZ ModZ, custom server builds, and you see that they've got an amazing uh, build in the free builds over here, and it's a boxing ring. Oh man, that looked great on my server. I sure would like to have that. Um, Small disclaimer here, guys. I'm sorry, but this, after the 1.13 update, stopped working. I'm working on a fix for it. So this will be available soon, but this boxing ring build is a very popular one. Anyway, I digress. So how do you get this onto your server and make it work? Well, we're going to cover a couple different areas because um, sometimes when you go to these third-party places to get these files, they come to you in a couple different ways. So I'm going to try to help explain how to do this. So first thing we need to do, we are going to actually download these. We're going to put them in our server backup, and we're going to download them to, we'll call this third party. So you can call that whatever you'd like, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're gonna call this third party. And we're gonna click download on that. It's gonna ask where we want to save it. Save it in third party. Okay. And then we want the CFG event spawns. I'm not going to cover in this video how the builds work. I'll be covering that in depth in some future videos, but this is just showing you how to install the uh, the builds or the files that you're getting from third party. Because sometimes on some of these modding channels you'll find a build or a mod that you really like, a deathmatch server or something like that. You'd like to run it on your server, but then you get the files and you just don't know what to do with them. And so I'm hoping this will help you with that. So we're going to open up third party, and here's our files. So we open them up and let's take a look at what we get. So up here it says Gorka Boxing Ring. And we scroll down, boy, that's a lot of buildings. And it ends with Gorka Boxing Ring, but that's all that's in there. Now, if we load that into our folder or into our game, there is going to be no cars, no animals, no heli spawns, none of that, because it's all been deleted from the events file. So we need to know that, and we need to know how to proceed. So what to do is to copy and paste this into your original files. So again, we're going to go to our Nitrado dashboard. Just a moment, let's get there. We're going to go into our Nitrado dashboard, and we are going to download our current events file. Again, remember, we always want to create a backup when doing these mods. So we're going to click download. Download that to our server backup folder. We're going to put it in the OG. And then the other file that we're going to want to work with here is the CFG event spawns. So just to very quickly go over that, the event is calling the event, and the event spawn is telling the game where the event will spawn. So we'll cover that much more in depth in another video, but just to understand why you need both for this to work properly. Because if you're going to call an event into the game needs to know where to send that event. And so, again, we'll cover that much more in depth in a future video. Okay, so back to our file. Remember, we're going to go in the OG and rename this. We're going to, I don't know why it added that one, but we're going to go ahead and delete that. go. We're going to copy and paste those into our mod. So we've got a backup of the original, and now we've got the ones that we're going to be modding. Okay, so we're going to open our unchanged events. Oh, excuse me, wrong file. Events, and there we go. So this one is full. This is actually the vanilla version. So we've got all of our animals, our heli spawns, fruits, and vehicles. So what we're going to do is we're going to open our third party. And what all we're going to do is we're going to copy this in its entirety. Now, when I say entirety, I mean everything below events and everything above events, because what that's telling the game is this is the end of or this is the beginning of the events, and then down at the bottom you'll see that is the close of the events. So we want to highlight all of this. Okay, careful not to highlight the events, that will mess things up. We want to copy that, and we want to pop over to our original file. We're going to put a space. I always like to put an extra space, and we're going to paste. And then I like to add another space in between, and that, for me, I just do this for organizational purposes. And remember, I do this with my mods. You'll see a lot of other codes doing this. I put the name of it just for organization. That way, if you have multiple mods in there, you know what's what. It keeps everything sort of organized. And remember, with these little arrows here with the punctuation, anything in between these two areas, the game will not read it. So that's why we use these tags. It just sort of helps us keep our mods organized, and it's not actually telling the game to do anything. But for us, when we look at our file, um, it helps stay organized. So that's ready to go. We're going to save that. And then I recommend running it through a validator just to make sure there are no errors. Remember, we have another video on validating your files. Okay. And so now we're going to do the same thing with our third party. So again, events position def, we don't want anything above that line. We just want underneath it all the way down to right above that. We're going to copy that. And then we're going to get back into our mods file. We're going to open our original CFG event spawns. We're going to pop it in up top here. Paste that in. That's in there. Again, you don't have to do this, but I like the space. Just it helps me see where my mods are. And then you're going to notice, that's interesting. The position and everything seems a little off kilter over here to the left. As long as all of this lines up with itself within these events, it will still spawn in just fine. So bear in mind, you might think you have to go in and manually move all those over. When I first started doing this, I did. I can tell you for certain you don't have to do that. So that's that. You save it. And now you're going to go in to your Nitrado. And so here's our game files. You want to stop your server. It seems like recently Nitrado has been putting the servers into a reset loop for whatever reason, for doing mods or messing with the files while the server is running. It didn't used to be like that, it seemed. So it's a good idea to stop your server. And once the server is stopped, sure it's taking its time. Well, we will go ahead just for the sake of the video, and you're going to want to delete this. Remember, we've already backed this up. Oh, there it is. It's stopped now. So we've already backed up the CFG event spawns and the events. So we have a backup in case anything happens. So go ahead and delete that. Okay. and wait for it to disappear. See, now it's gone. So then you're going to go to upload file. We're going to go to server backup. And then we go to mods where we kept our changes, remember? And we're going to select CFG event spawns. We're going to open that, and then we're going to wait for it to appear. And again, I'm using the events and the CFG event spawns. You're going to want to use this same method for any file that, like for instance, if you're adding a CFG event spawn, or excuse me, CFG spawnable types, CFG economy core, or we're going to look at after this the map group proto. You're going to want to use this same method. Just for the example of this video, we're using the event spawns and the events. So now we're done with the event spawns. That has been added and changed with our mods now applied. We're going to go into the DB folder. And again, we've already backed this file up, so we know we're safe to go ahead and delete that. We're going to upload. This is our mods. We're going to upload the events. Now, I should say this, I've already tested these before shooting this video, so I know they work. But remember, please remember this. Before you upload these to your server, run it through the validation process. Remember where we put a video out that told you how to validate your files and make sure there's no errors. It will save you a lot of time and headache. So please make sure you do that before you add these, okay? And so again, we're going to add that and watch and wait for it to pop up. Okay, once that pops up, you are safe to now start your server. And then once you start your server, as long as there were no errors in that file, your mods should now take effect in your file. Now, the way I have been typically doing this, if you go to our Discord and you order a server build from us, I've started just collecting the files, your current files, and then adding it to you so you don't have to do the copy paste. So I'm going to show you that method as well, because then you don't have to worry about the copy and paste. It's really quite simple. And so we're going to pop over to our Discord. And we're going to go into a free mod file. This is a wonderful mod right here. Basically, the map group proto is essentially, it's all the buildings in the game, and it tells it is the location where the loot is going to spawn in each building. And each building has a set designated amount of points in the building where loot can spawn. And the vanilla version only uses anywhere from 10 to 30 or 40% of those locations. There are a lot more available. So this free file, and you can go to our Discord, I'll put a link in the description for you, and download this for free. What I did was I went in and I counted up all the possible loot spawns and I maxed them out. So now, as long as you have boosted your loot enough, when you go into a building, every place in that building that could possibly have loot on the floor or on the shelves will now actually have loot in that area. But again, that won't work unless you've boosted your loot, but this is a free download available to you. So I'm going to show you how we would download this and install this into our server. So we're going to click download. We're going to save that in third party. Okay, and now we're going to, first of all, let's go ahead and open this up so I can show you what this looks like and how we know that this is a complete file and not a copy paste. So we're going to open that, and we see this has got everything in it. You can see it's a very long file, very, very extensive, covers a lot, but you'll know by comparing it to your vanilla file. So again, with the events file, remember there were a lot of things missing. It only had the boxing ring build in there. So, you always want to check those files when you get them from somebody so you know what you're getting. And for instance, if you were to upload that events file, any cars or vehicles that people have on the server would now be erased. And even after you reinstall the cars would still be gone. So this could really upset a lot of players. I actually made that mistake once. So very important to make sure that you know what file you are installing into your server before doing that. So okay, so we know this is complete. So we're going to close that out. We're going to go back into our Nitrado server, and we're going to create a backup of the map group proto. We're going to put that in OG. And we're going to click save. All right, so now we've got a backup of that file, and there it is. Now on this one, we don't actually really need to paste the OG one in there because the mod's already been done for us. So we're actually going to go into the third party and copy that one and place it into our mods. There we go. And then we're going to go into our Nitrado server again. And now that we've backed this up, we can safely delete that file. And we're going to upload our modded version. And then we're going to restart our server, and that mod should take effect. Now, it's very important when you, like for instance, on some Discords, they have free deathmatch servers, and you can download all the files for that. It's very, very important that every file that comes with that build, that you replace it. Because some files you might say, well, why do I need this one? I thought I just wanted, extra guns and this and that. Well, you never know. There might be a reason why. For instance, they are giving you the CFG limits definition file. So you need to replace it in order for the mods to work properly. Make sure that you replace all of the files with the ones that were given to you. Okay. And then again, always check it to see if you need to copy and paste it into your original or if you can just upload that full file. Hopefully that makes sense to you, but it's always good to look at it first and then make an executive decision. You know what? Okay, I see that there's no heli spawns in here or whatever. Compare that to the vanilla. And if there's a bunch of items missing, you know that you're probably going to have to copy and paste the modded stuff into your original file. So hopefully that makes sense. Feel free to send me a DM or contact us using our Discord. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to help answer that. And I will put a link to those free files in the Discord. Remember, the boxing ring is currently not working at this time, the release of this video. We are working on a new updated working version of that, but for whatever reason, after the 1.13 update, it stopped working. So we will get that fixed, but for now, you do have access to the other one and any other free mods we have available. So that's it. Like, subscribe, and please, as always, click the notifications bar so you get notified when we post new videos. Thank you all so much, and once again, have a wonderful day.